Pat Ryan is a very special person as far as I'm concerned. I've known him for easily over 4 decades, and I have watched his growth with great admiration and pleasure. He's been an unbelievably successful insurance broker, and I'm delighted that his efforts have been rewarded with a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Pat Ryan is a giant among the good men and women of our industry, a legend, a true icon who transcends our industry. I've had the pleasure of working with Pat for more than 20 years, and I salute him. Pat is one of the very few true statesmen of our industry, a man whose energy, drive, and vision have shaped our industry for more than 50 years. For Pat to come practically straight out of business school, establish a firm specializing in distributing credit life insurance products to automotive dealers, and eventually create Aon Corporation is remarkable. There is no person in our industry more deserving of a Lifetime Achievement Award. Congratulations, Pat.
I believe his legacy is that he fundamentally changed the face of the brokerage business. Doing so by merging together, bringing together owned brokerage houses all across the world, which became Aon at that time. So the consolidation of the retail brokerage business would be the first major piece of legacy that I would see.
I have watched his success with Aon, and before and after, and it has just delighted me to see how successful he became from a small individual with great, great hopes to someone who has created a true legacy in this business.
Pat's impact on the insurance industry is, so extensive. It isn't just that he's created these great organizations, and he has. He's made 2 fabulous organizations. It's the people that he's affected. It's the people that he has developed and has populated the industry with. It's his impact on how we view the business from a customer point of view, and also just his philanthropy, his give back, as an example to the rest of us, so that he has set a pace that we all would like to keep up with.
Pat's greatest legacy will be the impact he has had personally on so many people. He's been a mentor. He's helped build careers around the world. But most importantly, he's been a friend to so many different people. And Pat's actually, as an individual, he's much bigger than the industry. His philanthropic endeavors, his generosity, and his influence around the business and outside the business has been significant.
Pat is one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the history of our industry. He had the vision to see that the industry was globalizing, and he used that insight to build Aon into a global powerhouse. I think that the idea of global brokerage is a big contribution. It's fundamental, but it's more than that. Pat also realized that Aon had the opportunity to be more than the sum of its parts. He was really the first person to bring together a global network like ours to serve clients locally. That global capability and local service is unique to Pat, and it changed the way our industry operates.
When people talk about legacy, they're usually looking backwards. I think what he's done at Ryan Specialty Group is very much forward, and so I would imagine his legacy is still being written. But no matter when he decides to hang up the spurs, he will go down as one of the true icons that this industry has ever produced.
So when I reflect on my relationship with Pat, it really has spanned almost my entire professional career. And I really have a great admiration for the way he does business, not only about the successes that he had, which everybody knows about, but it's always the little things when people aren't looking, the time he spends reaching out to people, and he's done that to me at various stages across my career, whether it's to pep you up when something you're facing is difficult, whether it's to congratulate you on something, usually when people aren't looking, which is really, for me, when I look back on Pat, it's just one of those special things about him.
There are three very important things I think that underlie everything that he's done. Number one, everything starts with the people, with the talent, and his ability to attract and retain those people and build them into a team that works and works seamlessly together. I think number two, relationships really matter. And developing relationships with people, both in your personal life and professional life, is really important. And maintaining those relationships is work. It's what you bring to the table as well. And I think the third most important thing is integrity. It has to really underscore everything that you do. And nothing else that you do is more important than your integrity and the integrity of whatever you're trying to accomplish. I think that really underscores what Pat's main theme has been throughout his life, and what he tells everyone who works for him. Do the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
Pat's impact on our industry mimics why Pat's a great leader. Pat had a vision for how we could serve as an industry clients more distinctively, globalizing our capabilities and delivering real expertise. He turned that vision into a strategy that built a distinctive global company. And most importantly, Pat changed the lives of individuals and the performance of companies.
One of Pat's favorite lines is, "You do the right thing because it's the right thing to do." And it's really a mantra for who Pat is. He's such a phenomenal leader and a coach and a mentor to so many people. Thousands and thousands of people have recounted these stories about Pat, where you just improve your game immediately. The more you're around Pat, the more you really understand that it's easy for Pat to do the right thing. And if you're around him enough, it rubs off on you. And so oftentimes at RSG and RT, we kind of joke, but we're serious when we say, what would Pat do? And he's so consistent with the execution of that you pretty much have no doubt about what Pat would do in a given situation.
Pat, I feel very fortunate to be part of the great firm that you founded, and very fortunate to have had the opportunity to work alongside you and learn from you along the way. But most important, Pat, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for the culture you built here at Aon. The culture is really the foundation of everything we've been able to achieve, and it all comes back to you. It's a client-first culture. It's a client culture grounded in doing what's right for our clients. Pat, it's the essence of you, and it's fundamental to Aon. Thank you for that.
Pat taught me a lot in many different ways, but I think the greatest lesson that I learned from Pat is the respect you need to have for the individuals that you're working with. Because at the end of the day, is your ability to build cohesive teams of talented individuals in order to be successful.
How many people can build a giant, meaningful organization, decide to step aside in his early 70s or whatever Pat was, and then turn around and build another giant on the other side of the distribution channel. His personal impact on the industry has been undeniable, just his demeanor, his values, and so forth. And his corporations have clearly risen to the top in both of his endeavors to lead the industry in both of the areas that he's chosen to pursue.
Pat's an amazing man. He really is an amazing man. He, he's such an interesting guy because it's not just business. He's such an interesting man. He's not just an entrepreneur and an innovator and all that. We all know that about Pat. But he's a man. He's devoted to his family, his wife, to his city, to his alma mater, and it's just a privilege to know him and count him as a friend.
And the last official act that I had as CEO of Lockton after 15 years was having lunch with Pat Ryan. Pat had called and asked if he could come to Kansas City to meet with me and have lunch. And we had a wonderful chat about our friends, our acquaintances, our businesses, about the industry in general, about trends going forward. But none of that was more important than the fact that a friend, Pat, decided he wanted to come to Kansas City and have lunch with me as I ended my career as CEO.
I competed with Pat for about 20 years. Well, competed kind of. I think he kicked my butt for most of those 20 years when I was at Marsh and Willis.
I've learned a lot of things from Pat. He's just a unique individual, one of the finest gentlemen that I have ever met in or out of the insurance industry. Has always been true to his core values, has always been honest and fair in all of his dealings. I've often referred to him as the Energizer Bunny, who never stops working and continues to work as hard as he did now, as he did when he was 20 years old. And he has my complete admiration.
He brought a high sense of morality to all his business activities. And I think that's maybe his most enduring quality, at least from my perspective. He always had the well-being of his employees in mind. He believed in equity ownership for employees. And he was responsible for the well-being of an awful lot of people over the years. And I think that comes across from a basic philosophy that he often espouses. And it was a very simple statement. Do the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
Always do the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
Always do the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
Always do the right thing because it is the right thing to do.
Always do the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
Always do the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
Always do the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
Always do the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
Always do the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
Always do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Pat Ryan, congratulations on the Lifetime Achievement Award. It's well deserved.